So, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into this because Chicago's giving us yet another example of what happens when you put far left leadership in charge and you let them run the city into the ground. You see right now, you got the mayor out there. He's blaming everybody but himself because the city is facing a $130 million shortfall in their budget. And so what that means is the budget that they came up with, that they estimated it would take to run the city for this year, they're already short $130 million. Now, the mayor, he wants to blame City Hall because they didn't go with his plan, which was, hey, let's tax the rich. They'll cover the tab. That seems to be the default setting when it comes to these socialists running major cities nowadays. And so right now in Chicago, with the latest round of leadership incompetence, instead of working to make the city of Chicago more attractive for businesses, attract more business revenue, the mayor's throwing a fit because city council stopped him from taxing more businesses straight out of town. And so, as always, smash that thumbs up button. That's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content. For more, subscribe to the channel. Let's start right here. Mayor
Brandon Johnson says there is a budget trouble ahead with the city halfway through its fiscal year. WGN political editor Tamon Bradley has the latest from City Hall.
Hello from City Hall. Today, a warning from Mayor Johnson about the 2026 budget. It's $130 million short. The mayor pins the underperformance on revenue passed by his city council opponents. Remember, city council rejected Mayor Johnson's progressive revenue, such as a corporate head tax, in favor of an alternative budget. That plan took effect without the mayor signing it. At the time, the mayor warned the budget was not balanced. And here we are at the midway point in the budget year, and the mayor points to poor performance from advertising and debt sale. Mayor Johnson says these revenue measures have generated no revenue, none. So the city faces a $130 million hole. Here's the mayor's view of the situation.
Last December, we warned that some of those revenue sources would not perform as the caucus members or city council members that were more aligned with the interests of corporations. Now, halfway through the year, we are seeing those warnings come to fruition. Gaps have emerged due to the regressive revenue options that members of the city council that were more aligned with corporate interests put forward.
Mayor Johnson's opponents accuse him of not aggressively implementing the budget.
Yeah, and so you just heard that. And so what happened right here is Brandon Johnson, the mayor, he's pointing the finger at city council because earlier in the year, during the budget proposal, he wanted to enact a corporate head tax, which would have allowed Chicago to tax businesses over a certain employee amount per employee, about $33, if I remember correctly, when we covered this. And because the city council rejected that and then went along, came together, minus Brandon Johnson, and came up with their own budget proposal and passed it, but the mayor did not sign it, as you just heard. And so you fast forward halfway through the year, and now Brandon Johnson gets to point the finger at city council because they're experiencing a $130 million shortfall. And he gets to say, you see, if you would have followed my plan to tax businesses, we would not be in this predicament. But my read on this situation is, when you look at these far left radicals, these socialists who are leading these cities, run them into the ground. And it's the mentality where it's just like, well, we can just tax people more. We don't have to actually live within a budget. We don't have to cut and make tough decisions as far as what we should get rid of and what we should kind of postpone. No, we can just tax people who have more money more, and everything will work out fine. Sure, I guess maybe in the short term that sounds fantastic. Eventually, chickens come home to roost, right? And that seems to be the literal disconnect that these people just don't get. They think that the tax base will always exist and that there will always be another business that they'll be able to look at and say, hey, we're going to just tax you and take your money so we can keep our government programs running. And here's the thing. They want more money, but they're not even effective and efficient with the money that they use and that they have. And so you have incompetence, overspending, misusing, misplacing taxpayer dollars consistently. We see it all the time. But yet, when it's time to try to figure out how can we solve this issue, how can we make sure that we continue to fund our programs, the solution continues to be, let's just find someone else to tax. And when they can't tax the businesses, it always comes back to the average everyday person. They're the one who pays. And Chicago's experiencing that right now. But you know what? Let's continue.
And then in terms of, what kind of progressive revenue you might be most able to sell to city council, do you, especially on an election year budget, do you think the head tax remains the most feasible form to get to 26 votes? Are you exploring other options like a payroll tax?
I mean, I think, first of all, what we do know is that progressive revenue is structurally and economically sound. And we've proven that. Again, as far as our other options, I believe that we have to look at every single option that's available to us, whether at the city level or state level, for progressive revenue. Here's the main point. If we actually secure revenue from big corporations and those with means, it works. Every single revenue source of which we have challenged big corporations and those with means to put more skin in the game, all of those revenue sources are overperforming. So even our projection as a leader in this city, our projection did not fully capture the potential and the possibility. It's why, again, I've already started conversations about next year's budget with Speaker Welch. He wants a millionaire's tax. So do I. But most importantly, the people of Chicago and this state want a millionaire's tax. And so now it's going to be incumbent upon all of us to work collaboratively to go to the source of where the revenue exists.
So if you listen to Brandon Johnson, everything would just work out fine if you just would have let him tax more. I mean, it's going great right now, but I mean, is it really? Let's take a look at this. Chicago business warning signs. Business license decline, downtown vacancy, and regional expansion data. And so, according to this, active licensed businesses in 2015, it was 54,135. By 2024, it was down to 44,840. That's a 17% decrease, nearly 9,300, ladies and gentlemen. And when you look at the downtown vacancies in Q1 alone in 2026, it was 28.6%. And so those are just a few of the numbers. So you have all of that, but Brandon Johnson wants you to believe that the business environment in Chicago, it's bustling. But let's not forget, they literally have their professional football team, the Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen, looking to escape the city of Chicago after over 100 years of being in the city. They're done with Chicago now, basically. They may be leaving the state of Illinois, which is under Democrat leadership, but they're done with Chicago because of this is how much the city has been ran into the ground. Not just with Brandon Johnson. He's just the latest in a long line of Dem leadership who has come along and continuously went on with the same bad policy, believing that somehow it's going to work out differently. Hey, let's just keep on taxing businesses more. Hey, let's just keep on expanding these government programs and saying that it's about compassion and care. This is why we're creating them. And he's showing a level of incompetence that, I mean, after the last mayor, you thought that it was impossible for someone to come along in Chicago and be worse than her, Lori Lightfoot. But somehow Brandon Johnson has made almost everybody forget about her. But I want to go ahead and jump into this next clip that's been going viral because of what she said. You got Sunny Holston on The View. Don't know how this show continues to be on. It's literally just become a propaganda tool for the left at this point. I mean, it's so far gone from reality, it's not even funny. But you had Sunny Holston on there, and she said that she feels unsafe when she sees the American flag in certain neighborhoods. In certain neighborhoods, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder what she means by that. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, but first, take a listen to this.
And with an American flag on that cap, you might as well have a hood on. You might as well have a hood on, because that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like.
But you say this is the best nation. The best nation for who?
Yeah, when you say it's the best nation,
when you say it's the best nation, the best nation for who? Because if we are celebrating 250 years, What are we exactly celebrating is what I want to know. And so I'm really glad that picture was taken, because that picture is how we feel walking into many rooms down the street. That picture is how we feel, and nobody will believe us. So look at that picture and understand how it feels.
And you never should be made to feel like that.
Yes.
It's wrong that this woman is.
And I said this on this show many, many years ago, because this is my 10th year on the show, and I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy, and that should never be the symbol of white supremacy, but they have weaponized.
You got to be pretty deep down into your victimhood to think like this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you equate the American flag when you see it with white supremacy? How deeply entrenched in your victimhood mindset are you to even connect those kind of dots? I'm 40 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I've never thought that. I moved from New Jersey and I live in Texas now, me and my wife. And New Jersey, you don't really see the American flag around a lot. I mean, at least in the areas I was living in, didn't really see it that much. Then we moved to Texas. Let me tell you something about Texas, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been. Texas, you know you're in America when you're in Texas. Not only are you going to see the American flag almost everywhere, you're going to see the Texas flag everywhere also. I lived in New Jersey, grew up there my whole adult life, basically. Majority of my life lived in between New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I couldn't tell you what either of those flags look like, but I could tell you what the Texas flag looked like because it's up all the time in Texas. And of course, right next to it, 99.9% of the time, is the American flag. Because Texans are extremely proud. You kind of figure out to be Americans just as much as they are to be Texans. But somehow in Sunny Holston's mind, when she sees the American flag, she thinks racism, white supremacy. I mean, give me a break. If you got such a problem with it, take ownership of it. No one individual in this country has ownership over the flag more than another. You're an American citizen. You have just as much right where if you want to wave your flag, you want to wave the American flag, you can go ahead and do it. But you know what? Let's check out what Greg Gutfeld, Fox News, they talked about this also. It was pretty funny. Check it out.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think you summed it up. Yeah, gone are the days when Democrats would at least pretend to be patriotic. They used to stack their campaign stages with flags, adorn their lapels with little flag pins, and even say the Pledge of Allegiance without vomiting. But not anymore. Now they recoil like Dracula when he sees the sun. Hell, Sonny wouldn't even have a good time at Six Flags. But this is typical of her. Just because she feels something that's completely made up in her mind, like feeling unsafe around flags, everyone has to nod along like it's real. Great, I feel unsafe around stupid people like Sonny, whose families own slaves. Yeah. Except in that case, that's not a feeling. That is true. Tyrus, do you think the flag was co-opted and she can no longer enjoy it? It's like she's giving up her power. I can't enjoy this thing because that person's enjoying it. What a wuss.
Yeah, all of you missed the coded message that she was giving. She said when she goes around certain communities, that's some of the most racist you could ever say. I know it. I've been around it. And they're like, you know, like, I won't park my car in certain communities. Basically what she said was she drove by a Walmart and saw a bunch of white people with flags shopping, and she hated it.
Yeah.
She's racist. She can't help it. It's in her DNA. So, I mean, she literally was complaining about she's tired of seeing happy white people with flags. And here's the cold part. It was so racist that there was only 3 people in the crowd that shared her view. Did you not hear that clap? It was like, yeah! Oh, no, I'm not racist. I'm not, no. I like white people, just, you know, not in my house. So that's what happens is that when black people or kind of black people, I forget her DNA. She was like Puerto Rican and like German and an asshole. And but white people are so forgiving that they're not like, if I would have heard that, if Greg would have been like, listen, there's certain communities that I don't like going into, I'd be like what, Greg?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because everyone doesn't want to believe that, she is racist. Like the Klan, the grand dragon of the Klan would be like, damn.
It belongs to all of us. And it's really telling that a lot of people on the left are saying that when they see flags, they think it's, it's a Republican, it's someone on the right, it's MAGA. Okay, well, if you're the one that didn't stake claim to your flag, don't be mad when others use it. No one told you to denounce your country. No one told you to not be patriotic. No one told you to not try to unify one nation under God. That is a choice that you made, and you don't get to set the terms for other people who still believe in the values of this country. People who still want to unite under shared patriotism, because that is very important for a nation to survive, is people need to unite around something. If you decided that the flag represented everything that is against what you believe in, that is a you problem. The flag didn't do anything to you.
And so I'm going to go ahead and leave right here. The wonderful thing about this country and what that flag represents is you don't have to let someone else who you think is racist or they're using it for white supremacy, you don't got to let that define how you see the flag. Now, unfortunately for Sunny Holston, because she's such a victim and she goes on network TV spewing nothing but victimhood talking points, she connects the flag with white supremacy somehow. That's on her, though. For me, the reason why I put it up in the background is because I'm proud to be an American and I want to represent that. That's my right as an American, as much as it is for the next person who's an American. That's the wonderful thing about this country. Seems like Sunny Holston, she has no problem enjoying all the beautiful perks that she gets to enjoy as far as the money she makes, the neighborhood she gets to live in, the lifestyle she gets to live that she's been able to afford from being in this country, but somehow doesn't find the pride in the American flag. I just find that very interesting. Those are my thoughts in the update. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your comments down below. I appreciate when you guys chime in. Don't forget you enjoy the content. Smash that thumbs up. For more, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.